Hello there, I'm Lina Khmoudou. Welcome to Africa 54. Here is what's coming up. Former U.S. President Donald Trump attends the Republican National Convention after surviving an assassination attempt. Rwanda heads to the polls as Kagame eyes a fourth term as president. We'll have some reactions. And a Somali soldier showcases ingenuity and determination with his creation of a homemade helicopter. All this and much more coming up on today's Africa 54. A defiant former President Donald Trump is attending the full Republican National Convention just days after he survived an assassination attempt. VOA's senior Washington correspondent Caroline Presutti is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and tells us how his supporters, after Saturday's shock, are now energized.
So let's pray.
Prayers for former President Donald Trump,
And God told him to be strong and courageous.
who survived an assassination attempt on Saturday and flew to the Republican National Convention on Sunday.
The whole campaign has changed. The whole message has changed. Someone tried to kill our candidate.
A defiant Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that he cannot allow a potential assassin to force him to change his schedule.
Every time something happens to him, I feel like it solidifies his win even more. So he's kind of reached legendary status.
At a hotel across town, the South Carolina delegation was talking about Saturday and how it made them more determined. After the immediate shock of being hit on the top of his ear, Trump stood with his fist up and mouthed, "Fight."
The stand and fight, that iconic image now with the blood running down his face, the blue sky, the American flag. I mean, it's going to live.
The gunman used an AR-style rifle, often preferred by mass shooters. But delegates say its use on their convention, already under tight security.
We have got to get back to common sense. We have got to get back and stop what the hell is going on.
Due to the recent assassination attempt, one delegate said to me maybe the theme of this year's convention should be "Let's make America safe again." Caroline Presutti, VOA News at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
VOA reporter Carol Van Dam is standing by for us from the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Carol, after all that's happened these past few days, what is the atmosphere like in Milwaukee?
Well, the mood is, I would say, it's described as tense. There's a lot of delegates here still, and they're looking very happy with their candidate. I'm seeing a big group of delegates right now going down the escalator in front of me with red shirts on, all matching, that are Trump supporters for sure. But the security has been extremely tight. There's like a 4-block radius cut off to all vehicle traffic around me, and I'm standing right outside the Pfizer Center in what's called the Baird Center. It's where the media are, and you can see from behind me that there's people walking around. You can get through if you have the proper credentials, but otherwise it's a no-go for anybody trying to get in here.
And this is the first day of the convention. What is expected? And tell us more about President Trump's participation.
Well,
former President Trump.
Yeah, the former president arrived yesterday in Milwaukee here, downtown Milwaukee. He's at his hotel room. He's taking, he's meeting with various lawmakers and top Republican officials and some delegates and big donors in his hotel room. We're hearing that he's going to make an appearance tonight and that he will even announce his vice presidential candidate. We don't know, obviously, who that is. We don't know for sure that that's actually going to happen. But there are several reports that say it is going to happen and that he's going to be up on stage.
What is expected in the next few days on the agenda?
Well, actually, today we heard that there's going to be a vote on the abortion platform or, right to life platform. There's been dissension within Republicans, within the ranks, with conservatives versus middle of the road. Mr. Trump himself has said that He does not want a federal ban on abortion. Now, that differs with conservatives in the party who do want a federal ban. So we'll wait to see, but this is Mr. Trump's party and Mr. Trump's platform. So one would assume that it's going to be a watered-down version on as far as the platform on abortion or right to life.
Has the assassination attempt shifted the agenda at all in any way?
Oh, yes. We heard that the former president threw out his old speech that he had planned to make on Thursday night, which is the last night of this convention. And now he is apparently going to appear tonight, and he's come up with a whole new speech. And we also have been hearing that, you know, his comments have been, this can't be about violence in this country, and we've got to stop this kind of activity and behavior. And of course, President Joe Biden did the same thing, said the same thing in a live special address to the nation last night, that violence is not the answer, and the decision has to be made at the ballot box.
Okay, thank you, Carol, for that report. That was VOA Carol Vandam speaking to us live from the Republican National Convention. Now, people around the world have reacted strongly to an apparent assassination attempt on former U.S. President Donald Trump. Trump was the target of an assassination attempt on Saturday, as we mentioned, at a Pennsylvania rally just days before he was set to accept the Republican nomination for a third time. For more perspective, VOA's Paul Ndiho spoke with Sir Leonard Anyogo, a constitutional lawyer based in Calabar, Nigeria.
The whole world sees America as a beacon of hope, beacon of democracy, and of course, beacon of security. I think that this event is a turning point. I believe very firmly that both former President Donald Trump and President Joe Biden will understand that their actions or inaction, their choice of words, is far beyond them as individuals. It's for the whole global community. We expect a civil communication. We expect that people should sell their ideas. People should not attack persons. We should propel their interests and not persons. You should sell their message in a more decent form. It brings in more persons to you than being offensive in the choice of words, and being so that the community will not be polarized at the end of the day. Because that is the hallmark. Because you can only govern a people that is civil, a people that is peaceful. You can never have any development where violence is threatened, where the society is unstable. So I call that everyone should use words that unite more than words that divide.
You talk of America as a beacon of hope for democracy for the rest of the world, and rightly so, a lot of people look up to America. What do you think led to this point where people are literally ripping each other apart instead of playing nice, being politicians, you know, arguing for the sake of making their case until the voters decide who becomes president?
What I would like to know, this principal candidates, both Joe Biden and Donald Trump, have a lot of followers, have a lot of influence. So it's not just about them. It's about the global community. One cannot imagine America in chaos. That means the whole world order will have collapsed.
How about people who argue, for example, they're saying that maybe this could change the political landscape. It could change the way the campaigns are held, or the way these politicians canvass for votes are going forward.
Politics, we are looking for votes. You need people to govern. You don't need a polarized society. You know, America, just like I keep saying, is a beacon of hope globally. So the American society has to be united to ward off violence. So this is a turning point as far as the global community is concerned. I think going ahead, going forward, we should see more of very refined language from both camps, refined diction of words, more that is more united. Look, it's an election. Anybody can win, anybody can lose. If you lose, you should concede defeat, because there can never be two winners at the same time. There must be a winner at a point. So both former President Donald Trump and President Joe Biden, of course, have to do that undertaking that, look, it's either I win or I lose, but American society will remain.
Sir Leonard Anyogo, a constitutional lawyer based in Calabar, Nigeria, speaking to VOA's Paul Ndiho. from South Africa and Uganda, we have reactions about the assassination attempt.
I think that is something that can happen anywhere. I think it's a bit arrogant for any country to assume that they're too secure and they have outgrown human emotion. Because you see, political seasons are very emotional seasons and people are volatile and all. So that kind of stuff is expected.
It is shocking. I've been following Donald Trump since when he was even still a wrestler. But if it was happening here where I'm standing in Uganda, I will not be much surprised where people can happen at any time. But in a country like US, the superpower country, we are really left of what to say. I'm shocked if it can happen in America.
I think business-wise, as well as being a former president, I think he has, enemies. It's bound to happen.
Now, actually, it's not fair, because we know America, there's democracy, and that thing is an ambush. Actually, that thing, I don't know, but it's not right. It's very concerning.
President Joe Biden on Sunday summoned the gravitas of the Oval Office to entreat Americans to unify and shun political violence after a stunning attempt on the life of rival Donald Trump a day earlier. Trump, en route to the political convention, where he is expected to clinch the Republican presidential nomination, made similar calls in a sign both men fear trouble ahead as the November election looms. VOA's Anita Powell reports from the White House.
This is the moment that changed the 2024 American presidential race, and maybe the course of history. Former President Donald Trump stood up seconds after a shooter attempted to take his life at a rally on Saturday. But as President Joe Biden acknowledged Sunday from the Oval Office, for America, this is no mere flesh wound. He urged unity and reminded Americans that their power comes through the ballot, not the bullet.
My fellow Americans, I want to speak to you tonight about the need for us to lower the temperature in our politics. And to remember, while we may disagree, we are not enemies. We're neighbors, we're friends, co-workers, citizens, and most importantly, we're our fellow Americans. We must stand together. Yesterday's shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania calls on all of us to take a step back, take stock of where we are, how we go forward from here.
Trump has also called for unity after the shooting. He arrived Sunday in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the Republican National Convention, where he is expected to be anointed as the party's presidential nominee. Analysts say that Trump's defiance in the face of death will have an effect.
It will have a huge impact on this election, but our politics more broadly. History suggests we're likely to see a rally around the Trump effect, where those that were in his camp will be even more in his camp. And then those who just can't stomach the political violence, for those who face a reality check of just how dangerous our political rhetoric has become and sees this manifestation of violence play out before our very eyes, it's going to have an impact on this election.
Trump supporters say the grim scene may have taught the nation something important, that institutions matter more than the individuals who lead them.
I mean, it was both a really terrible day for American democracy, but in a lot of ways was also a great day. I think whether you support President Trump or you don't support President Trump, I think what everyone should take away from that is that American democracy is a lot bigger and a lot more resilient than too many people give it credit for.
Some analysts say they fear more trouble as the two major parties hold conventions this summer.
I have argued elsewhere that we are very likely to see political violence across the spectrum in this election cycle. Obviously, this is the most serious incident so far, but I don't think there's any reason to believe that this will be the last violence that we see.
Now both men are using their platforms to call on Americans to shun violence and unify. But the question for Americans, who still have to choose one of them to lead the nation, is unify behind who? Anita Powell, VOA News, the White House.
Voting has ended across Rwanda and many have cast their votes. We sought perspectives from voters about their expectations on the outcome of the elections.
I came to vote early so I can get back to work. For me, it is important to vote. We have the chance to live in a good democracy, where the population can choose its leaders. They work for us, they represent us, and can make the choices to ensure the development of our country.
I came to vote for a good leader. I know who I will vote for. This person is in my heart. It will be someone who has already done a lot for us and helped us in our development. That's why I came early.
When I woke up this morning, I felt the need to come and vote for the president who will be my leader. It is the duty of all Rwandans. Now that I have voted, I feel good. Everything is perfect.
Those were perspectives from citizens of Rwanda on Election Day. Joining us live via Skype from Kigali, Rwanda, is VOA Nairobi Bureau Chief Mariama Diallo. Mariama, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Lina, for having me. I was going to say bonjour to you because of the French, but
of course.
Yes, we're speaking English right now.
Bonjour. Give us a sense of how the day has been in terms of the voting process and voters' turnout.
Well, I think voters' turnout seemed to be very high, even leading up to the voting stations that we were driving to. You can see the lines, people walking in, walking towards the centers so they can vote. The center that I spent a lot of time with is the center where President Kagame was supposed to be voting in, and he eventually voted in that center. And yes, there were a lot of lines, but things were moving very slowly. In fact, I spoke to some of the voters who came to cast their ballots, who said there were no stress. They came in, waited patiently in line. When their turn came, they got in. Some of them know the drill because they've been doing it for a while. The newer ones will get a few explanations here and there. But I think the turnout was definitely high. When the National Electoral Commission talks about 9 million people who have registered to vote, and this year compared to the last time, they had 2 million new ones. So it was pretty high, definitely.
So what is at stake in this election?
Well, I think when you talk to the Kagame, supporters, and he has a lot of them because we've seen a lot of his rallies are attended by thousands of people. And when we talk to voters, people who want to vote for him, they feel like he's done well for the country. Obviously, Rwanda went through the 1994 genocide. And, they think of Kagame as the person who took them out of that and the person who rebuilt the country, who brought internal peace and stability. Those are what his supporters will tell you all the time. I interviewed one person who said to me that he was 4 years old when the genocide happened. 30 years later, he's voting for Kagame, and he wishes he's going to continue to vote for him forever, if he could. But when you talk to the other side, it's a smaller opposition, obviously, with the Democratic Green Party candidate, Frank Habineza. You also have Philip Mpayimana. I think they are trying also, they're not completely criticizing what President Kagame has accomplished, but they think that he's overstayed. He's been here for a long time. 30 years is a generation. There are kids who are growing up who only know Paul Kagame. So they also want to be part of what moves the country forward. And in their manifestos, they propose all kinds of stuff, and wanting to work in all industries, including agriculture, fishing, all kinds of industries where they also want to make their mark and try to move the country forward.
Great reporting, Mariama. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
That was VOA Nairobi Bureau Chief Mariama Diallo reporting from Kigali, Rwanda. We are excited to hear what you think about Africa 54 and all our VOA Africa programs on our website at voaafrica.com. Thanks for joining us, and don't go away. We'll be right back.
Health,
wellness, sport, beauty, medical breakthroughs. Healthy Living cares about your well-being. What are the main health concerns in Africa and around the world? Find out the latest on coronavirus. Connect with our experts and ask them questions.
How long does the virus stay?
Join me, Linor Moudou, in Washington every week on Healthy Living, right here on VOA. U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon, presiding over the classified documents case of former President Donald Trump in Florida, dismissed the prosecution, siding with defense lawyers who said the special counsel who filed the charges was illegally appointed. The decision ends a criminal case accusing the Republican former president of illegally hoarding classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida, and obstructing FBI efforts to get them. Kenyan police have found bags filled with dismembered female body parts in a grisly discovery at a garbage dump in the Nairobi slum of Mukuru. Sources say Collins Jumaisi Kalusha confessed to killing 42 women. Gambia's parliament rejected a bill that sought to reverse the country's ban on female genital cutting. FGM has been outlawed in Gambia since 2015, and the first convictions last year fueled a backlash against the law. In a remarkable display of ingenuity and determination, a Somali army soldier has achieved what many thought impossible, building a helicopter from scratch. VOA's Najib Hamed has this story from Mogadishu, Somalia.
Meet 24 years old Muhammad Ali, a member of the Somali National Army and the driver of his platoon, whose passion for aviation led him to embark on an extraordinary project. When Ali started the process of building the helicopter in December 2023, he bought all the parts with his own money and sourced them locally.
I've always dreamt of being an aeronautical engineer, but growing up in Somalia, opportunities were scarce. This is a helicopter I built from scratch using my little salary. Many people don't believe that I built this on my own. Despite my efforts, I didn't get any help.
Mohammed says the most difficult aspect of the process was lack of funds to source all the parts at once, as they were very expensive, and not having enough time to concentrate, as he was expected to perform military duties at the same time he was working on the helicopter. But the difficulties did not deter Ali from his passion. He watched YouTube tutorials and engineered the helicopter on his own. His military colleagues and the commanders praised him for his determination and efforts.
Mohammed is an innovative and talented soldier. He told us about his engineering abilities back at the military training school in Uganda. Once we came back to Somalia, the command gave him time off to showcase his innovation. We kindly request the government to help this young soldier, as his innovative skills are helpful to the Somalian army and will inspire future generations.
According to the United Nations Funds for Population Activities, 66% of the youth in Somalia have not completed any level of education. Mohammed is among those youths having not gone to school. He has of aviation professionals addressing the growing demand for skilled personnel in the country.
Mogadishu Aviation College aims to help Somali students who wish to study aviation courses so that they can help and work the country's airports. What Mohammed has accomplished is truly remarkable. Building a helicopter from scratch is an incredible complex task, requiring advanced knowledge of engineering and aviation principles. His achievement showcases the ingenuity and resourcefulness of the Somali people.
According to research done by Somali National Infrastructure Strategy, Somalia has an estimated number of 60 airstrips, airfields and airports evenly spread across the country and developed since independence, mainly for military and strategic reasons. Although Mohammed is yet to get access to an airstrip to fly his newly built helicopter, by defying all odds,
what an incredible story. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. From all of us here in Washington, thanks for watching.